Hey there, fellow explorers of the strange and unusual. Welcome back to another spine-tingling countdown. Today, we're diving headfirst into the shadowy world of abandoned places. You know, those eerie spots where time seems to stand still, whispers linger in the air, and goosebumps are practically guaranteed. If you're brave enough to join me, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an expedition into the unknown. We're talking about places where the walls hold secrets, the shadows dance with unseen figures, and the very air feels thick with the weight of history, and maybe a ghost or two. Buckle up because we're about to embark on a journey to 10 of the creepiest abandoned places on Earth, each one shrouded in its own unique brand of disturbing secrets. Get ready for chilling tales of hauntings, unexplained phenomena, and the echoes of tragedies that still resonate within these forgotten walls. Let's go! Nestled at the base of Mount Fuji, draped in an ethereal mist, lies Aokigahara. This dense forest, known as the Sea of Trees, is a place where sunlight struggles to penetrate the thick canopy, casting an eerie twilight even at midday. But Aokigahara isn't just known for its natural beauty. It has a darker reputation, one steeped in unsettling stories and a palpable sense of unease. Known as the Suicide Forest, Aokigahara has a tragic history that weighs heavily on the atmosphere. Locals whisper tales of Eerie, restless spirits said to wander the woods, their sorrow clinging to the trees. Whether you believe in the supernatural or not, there's an undeniable heaviness to this place. The silence itself is almost deafening, broken only by the rustling of leaves and the occasional caw of a crow. Some say the magnetic iron ore beneath the forest disrupts compasses, adding to the disorientation and sense of being lost. Others talk about a strange stillness, a feeling of being watched, as if the very trees themselves are observing your every move. Whatever the truth may be, Aokigahara remains a place of somber beauty and haunting mystery. Across the world, in East Sussex, England, stands Hellingly Hospital, a sprawling complex of crumbling buildings that once housed thousands of patients with mental illnesses. The hospital operated for almost a century, and its history is riddled with stories of experimental treatments, overcrowding, and alleged mistreatment of patients. Today, Hellingly is abandoned, left to crumble under the weight of its own dark past. The silence of the empty halls is broken only by the creaking of floorboards and the flapping of pigeons' wings. Peeling paint, rusted medical equipment, and scattered patient records create a chilling tableau, a snapshot of a forgotten world. Many claim that Hellingly is one of the most haunted locations in England, with reports of shadowy figures, disembodied voices, and inexplicable cold spots. Ghost hunters and curious visitors alike have flocked to Hellingly, hoping to catch a glimpse of the paranormal. Some have reported hearing screams echoing through the empty wards, while others claim to have felt a ghostly touch or seen apparitions of former patients peering from windows. Whether these stories are true or simply the product of overactive imaginations, there's no denying the unsettling atmosphere that permeates this derelict institution. In the murky Venetian lagoon, shrouded in mist and legend, lies Poveglia Island. This small island, just a stone's throw from the bustling city of Venice, has a history as dark as the waters that surround it. For centuries, Poveglia served as a quarantine zone for victims of the bubonic plague. Thousands of souls, stricken with the Black Death, were shipped to the island, left to die and be buried in mass graves. Later, it became home to a mental asylum, adding another layer of suffering and despair to its grim history. Today, Poveglia is strictly off-limits to visitors. The Italian government has declared it a danger zone, not just because of the crumbling structures, but because of the weight of its tragic past. Locals whisper stories of the island being cursed, haunted by the tormented souls who perished there. Fishermen avoid its shores, fearing that their nets will snag not on fish, but on human bones. The island's soil is said to be composed of 50% human ash, a chilling testament to the horrors that unfolded there. Some claim to have heard the cries of plague victims echoing on the wind, while others speak of shadowy figures watching from the windows of the derelict asylum. Poveglia remains a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring power of fear and suffering. Deep in the heart of Pennsylvania, a ghost town smolders. Centralia, once a thriving mining community, is now a desolate landscape scarred by an inferno that has been burning for over half a century. In 1962, an underground coal seam ignited. What began as a small fire quickly spread, consuming the veins of coal that ran beneath the town. Efforts to extinguish the blaze proved futile, and Centralia was slowly choked by smoke and consumed by the relentless flames. Today, the town is almost entirely abandoned. Cracked asphalt, houses swallowed by sinkholes, and plumes of sulfurous smoke rising from the earth paint a picture of a modern-day inferno. A handful of residents stubbornly remain, clinging to their homes and memories, but Centralia is a ghost of its former self. The air is thick with the smell of burning coal, and the ground is warm to the touch. Visitors can walk along the cracked highway, seeing the remnants of a community ravaged by fire. The eerie silence is broken only by the occasional groan of shifting earth and the hiss of escaping gases. Centralia is a stark reminder of the destructive power of nature and the fragility of human endeavors. In the heart of Philadelphia, a monument to solitude and despair stands Watch Eastern State Penitentiary, a Gothic fortress designed to hold society's most hardened criminals. This former prison, once considered a model of penal reform, became infamous for its system of strict solitary confinement. Prisoners were kept in isolation, their only contact with the outside world a small skylight meant to represent the eye of God. The psychological toll of such isolation was immense, driving many inmates to madness. The prison closed its doors in 1971, but the stories of suffering and despair linger. Today, Eastern State Penitentiary is a popular tourist destination, attracting those intrigued by its chilling history and the possibility of encountering the restless spirits that are said to roam its cell blocks. Visitors can walk through the crumbling cell blocks, imagining the crushing solitude that once permeated these walls. Ghostly apparitions, disembodied voices, and unexplained cold spots have been reported throughout the prison. Some claim to have heard the whispers of former inmates, while others have described feeling an oppressive sense of dread, as if the very walls themselves are imbued with the anguish of the past. Whether these stories are true or simply the product of suggestion, there's no denying the unsettling atmosphere that pervades this historic prison. South of the border, in the canals of Xochimilco, Mexico, lies a small island cloaked in an unsettling aura. Isla de las Muñecas, the Island of Dolls, is not your typical tourist destination. Thousands of dolls, weathered and dismembered, hang from trees, dangle from fences, and peer from the crumbling walls of the island's sole structure, a dilapidated cabin. But these aren't remnants of childhood play. They're a chilling memorial, a testament to a tragedy that has seeped into the very soil of the island. The story goes that a young girl drowned in the canal surrounding the island, and her spirit haunted the area. The island's caretaker, Don Julian Santana Barrera, began collecting dolls, believing they would appease the girl's spirit and ward off her restless energy. He spent decades hanging these dolls, creating a macabre spectacle that is both fascinating and deeply unsettling. Visitors to the island often feel a sense of unease, as if they're being watched by the vacant eyes of the dolls. Some claim to have seen the dolls move their heads or limbs, while others report hearing whispers and giggles carried on the wind. Whether these are genuine paranormal occurrences or simply the power of suggestion, there's no denying the eerie atmosphere that permeates this island of forgotten toys. Beneath the bustling streets of Paris, a labyrinth of silence and bone stretches for miles. The Catacombs, a network of underground tunnels lined with the skeletal remains of over 6 million Parisians, is a chilling testament to the city's mortality. These ossuaries were created in the late 18th century as a solution to overflowing cemeteries. The bones of the dead were exhumed and meticulously arranged in the tunnels, creating a macabre spectacle unlike anything else on Earth. Entering the catacombs is like stepping into the underworld. The air is cool and damp, carrying the faint scent of dust and decay. The silence is heavy, broken only by the footsteps of visitors echoing off the walls of bone. The sheer volume of skeletal remains is overwhelming, a stark reminder of the vastness of death and the ephemeral nature of life. While the catacombs are not generally considered haunted, there's an undeniable aura of mystery and melancholy that pervades the tunnels. Some visitors report feeling a sense of unease, as if they're being watched by the unseen eyes of the dead. Others claim to have heard whispers or seen shadows moving in the darkness. Whether these are genuine paranormal occurrences or simply the power of suggestion, there's no denying the eerie atmosphere that permeates this subterranean city of bones. Just outside Berlin, Germany, there's a sprawling complex of decaying buildings that stand as a silent testament to a turbulent past. Beelitz-Heilstätten Hospital, originally a state-of-the-art sanatorium for tuberculosis patients, has seen both healing and horror within its walls. During World War I, it treated wounded soldiers, including a young Adolf Hitler. Later, in World War II, it fell under Soviet control and continued to operate as a military hospital until the fall of the Berlin Wall. Today, Beelitz-Heilstätten is largely abandoned. Its crumbling buildings, stained with rust and decay, serve as a haunting reminder of the passage of time and the weight of history. Nature has begun to reclaim the complex, with trees growing through windows and vines creeping along the walls. The silence here is broken only by the cawing of crows and the wind whistling through broken panes of glass. Visitors often report feeling a sense of unease, as if they're being watched by unseen eyes. Some claim to have heard footsteps echoing through the empty corridors, while others have described seeing shadowy figures lurking in the darkened rooms. Whether these are genuine paranormal occurrences or simply the product of suggestion, there's no denying the eerie atmosphere that pervades this abandoned hospital. In the shadow of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, the ghost town of Pripyat, Ukraine, stands frozen in time. Once a bustling city, home to the families of those who worked at the nearby power plant, Pripyat was evacuated on April 26, 1986, following the catastrophic explosion of the Chernobyl reactor. This disaster spewed radioactive material into the atmosphere, forcing the evacuation of Pripyat and the surrounding area. Today, Pripyat is a chilling testament to the devastating power of nuclear disaster. Buildings stand empty, their windows shattered, their interiors looted and decaying. Schools, hospitals, and apartment blocks are frozen in time, as if the residents simply vanished into thin air. Ferris wheels and bumper cars sit idle in an amusement park that never saw its grand opening. The silence here is eerie and profound, with only the wind rustling through the trees and the occasional crackle of a Geiger counter measuring the lingering radiation. Visitors often report feeling a sense of unease, as if the very air is heavy with the weight of tragedy and the unseen threat of radiation. Off the coast of Nagasaki, Japan, a concrete island rises from the sea, a haunting reminder of a bygone era. Hashima Island, once known as Battleship Island due to its distinctive shape, was a bustling coal mining community. Thousands of workers and their families lived in towering concrete apartment blocks crammed onto this tiny island. The island was a self-contained world with schools, hospitals, shops, and even a cinema. But as Japan transitioned from coal to petroleum, Hashima Island's importance dwindled. The mines closed in 1974, and the island was hastily abandoned. Today, Hashima Island is a ghost town, its concrete structures crumbling under the relentless assault of the sea and wind. It's a popular tourist destination, attracting those intrigued by its eerie beauty and its glimpse into a forgotten way of life. Visitors can explore the deserted streets, peer into abandoned apartments, and imagine the lives that were once lived within these concrete walls. The silence is broken only by the cries of seagulls and the waves crashing against the seawall. There's a sense of melancholy that pervades the island, a reminder of the transience of human endeavors and the power of nature to reclaim what was once ours. So there you have it, our chilling tour of 10 abandoned locations with secrets as dark as their abandoned hallways. Would you dare to visit any of these places, knowing their unsettling histories and the whispers of paranormal activity that cling to them? If you're feeling brave, let me know in the comments which location you'd choose and why. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed our eerie exploration. Subscribe to the channel for more adventures into the unknown, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a chilling tale. Stay curious, stay safe, and remember, sometimes the most fascinating stories are found in the places time forgot. Until next time, keep exploring the shadows.